Hello, fifth grade. I hope y'all are doing well. It is Thursday, art day, best day ever. All right, guys, really quickly before I get into the lesson, I wanted to show you what I've been working on. And I'm excited for you guys to come back to school so we can finally do weaving and finally do clay because we didn't get to do it all the way last year. And I wanted to show you my little tapestry with the tassels. I thought it's really fall-like. It's got fall colors. It's really fun. It's been something I've been doing in my free time in between grading and lessons and all that fun stuff. So this is what I've been doing. It's pretty neat. But all right, let's get on to our lesson. So we're going to be talking about two things today. But the main thing is perspective. Perspective. All right, so there's two types of perspective that we're going to be talking about today, and one of them is a bird's eye view. So if I was like a little bird flapping around in the sky, would things be really big or really small on the ground from where I was up in the sky? Would they be really big or really small? Probably little bitty. Think about flying in an airplane if you've been in an airplane or really high up on a building. People down below look itty bitty, okay? Keep that in mind. We're also going to talk about worm's eye view. If I'm a worm, a little bitty worm on the ground, are things going to be really big or are they going to be really small? They probably will be ginormous because I'm a little worm. All right? Bird's eye view, worm's eye view. Both super duper important. Today we're only for blah, blah, blah. We're only focusing on worm's eye view. Okay? Worm's eye view. My little worm. All right. So we're also going to be talking about color. Next week we'll be talking about like a color scheme. Okay. We're not going to get there yet. But we are going to be talking about fall colors. And I want you to keep in mind that when the trees start to turn colors, not really here because it's hot, but think about being in New York or Vermont or someplace up north where the trees turn these beautiful colors of orange, yellow, red, brown. Sometimes they're still kind of a green color, but they turn these beautiful fall colors. We're going to be using that. And you have the option to do it today. So keep that in mind as well. If you need to look up a picture, just type in colorful fall trees and that should pop up on Google or however you search your pictures. But keep that in mind. Now, the video takes a little bit of time because I'm explaining some things as we go. But I want you to know that perspective can be tricky and it's something that you kind of have to focus on. So don't try to do this super fast. Don't try to rush through it. Take your time. If you need to follow along with me, go for it. If you want to just watch the video and then try it on your own, you can do that too. However, this works for you. But I'm excited about this lesson. I've never really tried this lesson. It's the first time I've done it. And I'm really excited. You guys are rocking it. Those postcards looked phenomenal. I was so excited. But I'm also kind of sad because I don't have them here to hang in the hallway. Our hallways are kind of bare. I don't have any artwork right now. But I'm really excited for you guys to come back. I can't wait to start doing art in the art room again and doing things like that. So take a picture when you're done, upload to Schoology. And then next week we're going to be talking about watercolor. But we're going to be creating our own watercolor. All we're going to need is markers, water, and a paintbrush. So that's going to be fun. If you have regular watercolors, you'll be able to use that too. But we're not there yet, so stop. Okay? Now, last thing, really important before I stop talking for 8,000 years. Please know that everything on Schoology is a grade. If I ask you to upload a picture, that's a grade. Okay? It doesn't really matter right now when you turn it in, but I want it turned in before the end of the 9 weeks because I have to put grades in. If you have not done assignments, I would for sure go back because you get a grade every time you turn something in. The exit tickets are not a grade. So don't stress about the exit tickets. Those are there for attendance to make sure that you have done your work, you've listened to the videos, that kind of stuff. This week there is no exit ticket though because I want you to focus on your artwork. So do your work. Turn it in. Okay? All right, friends. I will see you soon through the screen. But enjoy your artwork this week. Use your creative brain. Remember that there is no mistake in art. Try your best. That's all I ask for. But my 5th grade friends, you guys are awesome. I will talk to you soon. Bye, Lions. And oil pastels, if you have them. If you don't have oil pastels, no worries. You can use colored pencil, crayon, okay, or oil pastels. No marker, okay? No marker, because we're gonna be using a trick with the marker later for next week. So no marker, oil pastels, crayons, colored pencils, okay? All right, so I'm gonna move on from this. This is what you need today, okay? You don't really need this yet. This will be for next week, but you can kind of get started and I'll show you. Okay, what we're gonna do today, we are creating perspective. Now this is what it's gonna look like at the end of today. After you finish your outlining, then you're gonna go in and color with some of the brown, if you have a brown color, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But your paper's gonna look kind of funky like this, okay? You can see that the base, wherever I'm drawing from, is wider and it comes to a point. Do you see that? Now, I'm gonna show you how to do this. What I don't want today, okay? I'm gonna do it without a ruler, but I wanna show you. I don't want something like this. I do not want a flat piece at the top, okay? We gotta make it go to a point. So, here we go. I'm gonna get started and show you how to do this today. We are talking about the trees. If we are in a worm eye, or a worm eyes view, or an ant view, we are gonna be looking up into the sky. If we were looking up at the tops of the trees. The very tippy top of the tree and the leaves are probably gonna be kind of small, okay? They're not gonna be big, they're not gonna be, you know, where we can see the shapes of them because they're so high up, they're gonna look like dots. The top of the tree is gonna get to a skinny point. So let me show you how to do this first. I'm not gonna show you the finished example yet because I kinda wanna see how you do this on your own, but I will show you our outline and stuff like that. Here we go. You're gonna pick maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 spots on the page, and it's gonna kinda go around the page. I'm gonna start like this. I'm gonna pick a spot here, and I'm gonna draw a little dot, okay? I don't know if you can see that, but that's kind of where my first tree is gonna go. And I'm gonna start on that, and I'm gonna draw a line, just like that. And then I'm gonna come, and I wanna draw another line. Now notice, I'm gonna make almost a triangle shape, but I don't want it to be wide like this. We're making like a tree trunk. You're gonna use your ruler because I want straight lines. All right, and I'm gonna come over here, maybe make this one go a little bit further in. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go here with another, and you don't have to draw the dots if you don't want to, but I am, okay? Alrighty, let's go this way. Further in one more time. I'm gonna make my little triangle shape. It almost looks like you're looking into a monster's mouth with all the teeth, okay? I'm gonna do another, and I'm gonna kinda change it a little bit. Do you notice that I'm not making them all point to the same spot in the center of the page? Oh my goodness, I'm running out of lead. Okay. Do you notice that my finger is here? Not all of them point straight to my finger, and that's okay. All right. So I think I'm gonna do one more tiny one on this side, or maybe not a tiny one. I lied. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So this is gonna be the bases of our trees. All right. Now again, us looking up. If you can imagine it. Us looking up into the sky, and this is what we see. If we were laying on our backs, we were a little ant or a little worm, we would look up and this is what we would see. Now, this is our tree trunk, and as it gets taller and taller, it gets skinnier until we can't see it anymore. All right? So this first part, we're not gonna color the background, all right? At all, none. What you're gonna need is a brown oil pastel or a brown crayon or a brown colored pencil. And we are not leaving any white space today, none. Because next week, we are going to add, we're gonna do our own kind of watercolor with using a marker, and I'm going to show you how to do that so that everybody has a chance to kind of do that if they have markers at home. Okay. Oopsies. So I'm going to color this in nice and dark, and again, it's not perfect, but I do want to try to color in all the white space, because if we're going to be using our own watercolor, and if you have watercolor, you'll use that next week, but if not, we're going to make our own. We don't want any of the blue to show up on the bark or the trunk of the tree. Okay, you can even take your finger and start to kind of spread it if you have oil pastels. Crayons and colored pencils won't do this, but if you've got oil pastels, this will work. All right, so I'm going to smooth it out. I'm going to do this for all my tree trunks. If you have more than one color of brown, oops, I left a spot open. Okay, if you have more than one color of brown, you can use different colored browns for your trees. Not all tree trunks are the same color. All right, go ahead and do that. I'm going to stop and do that for my paper. If you need to stop, if you're following along, and do that for yours, let's pause now, and I'll be right back with the finished tree trunk so I can move on to the next part. All right, I'm back. So I noticed something, that when you rush through your project, you get smudges like I did. I shouldn't have rushed. Take your time. But I also noticed that some of the time I kind of got out of my lines, and I didn't go to all the lines, and that's okay. But then I thought, man, these look like little branches. So if you notice that you mess up, turn it into like a little branch. All right, so that way it looks more realistic and it looks like a tree. So here's the next part. If you have oil pastels, crayons, or colored pencils, here we go. I'm going to be using my oil pastels, and I grabbed colors that were fall colors. Now, let me describe fall colors to you. I don't need this guy. When I think about them, I think about when I watch movies and I see trees changing colors. We don't really get that here until it gets really, really cold. But our trees will turn these pretty colors, these kind of browns, yellows, oranges, reds, as the leaves turn and the season change. They change, but I want to do that kind of with our trees as if we were looking up. Now remember what I said, if we're in a worm's eye view, the leaves are going to be really tiny because we're not going to be able to make out what kind of leaf they are, what kind of shape they are. All we're going to see are kind of like little dots. So this is what it's going to turn into, okay? I'm going to take whatever I've got and I'm going to start making these little dots all around. However wide you want your tree to go out, and I'll show you in just a second. You're going to do this with every color. Now, you're going to be like, Miss Alvarez, this is taking five ever, because it's longer than forever. And you might not like me after this because I'm going to make you do this for every fall color that you have. You're going to want to kind of fill this in. And be very careful if you're using oil pastels because your stuff will smudge. I've already started to smudge my stuff. And I'm going to go through every color, like I said, and kind of change my dots as I go. Sorry if my camera's shaking. I'm trying really hard to be gentle on the table. So we're going to do this, and you don't want it to be a perfect circle. You kind of want it to be a weird shape because trees aren't perfect circles. I'm going to keep going until I fill up this whole spot because trees don't have this much space through their leaves. Most of the leaves are really bunched together. I think I'm going to do more orange because a lot of the times the leaves turn orange. Okay, I'm going to skip over me doing this so to save some time, and I'm going to come back when my whole thing is filled so that you can kind of see that I'm not crazy and I'm making you draw dots for a whole reason. So hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I also added, oh, my camera. I also added some greens in there just to kind of give it, a little bit more color just because there still are green leaves during the fall time. And some of them are like half the color. So what I did, instead of just drawing little circles, I started to think about like when we were in kindergarten and we used to like do dots with the crayons or dots with things. That's what you're going to want to do, okay? So they kind of mix together. Let me bring this closer. Let me zoom in for you. You can kind of see that they kind of mix together in certain spots. And again, it's not a perfect circle. Some of them fade off. All right. So this is all I want this week. Colored in tree, bark, or trunks, whatever you want to call it. And remember, they get pointy at the ends. And I want to see the leaves. Okay, dots. Dot, 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 dot. Okay, or you can color in little circles if you want. This is all I want. Next week, we are going to add in our own watercolor by using markers and just water and a paintbrush. And it's going to be really cool because this is a way for you to try to use watercolor without actually having to buy watercolors. You just need like your normal school supplies. So can't wait to see this. I know it's a little odd looking, but I want you to get the hang of perspective. So we're talking about worm eye view or ant's view if we were on the floor of the forest or the woods. So looking up into the trees, here we go. Have fun. Enjoy your lesson this week. If you have any questions, please reach out. Take a picture and upload to Schoology, and I will see you soon, Lions. See you later.